Lance Pry, USA Radio News.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
This is not America. Sha-la-la-la-la. Little piece of you.
Hey, welcome to Talking Truth to Power, Nevada's Freedom Talk Radio. I'm your host, Brendan Trainor, and my co-host is Leland Faegre. And I understand that inflation hit 9.1%.
Yeah,
Yes.
This morning, the announcement of the CPI. You know, the effect of nascent recession is going to be felt next in the job numbers. That's where it hits next, you know. And I see here on Zero Hedge that new job openings drop in 47 of the 50 states. Nationally down 17%. So that's where you're going to see the next trend unfold.
That's businesses not able to hire or going out of business.
If they're even there, yeah.
Yeah, if they're even there, exactly. Because they can't afford the inputs that are necessary to run the business. They can't afford the energy and the cost of ingredients that they need to produce the products to sell.
You know, as it turns out, you have to have capital in order to
Be a capitalist.
capitalize your business. It's going to dawn on these people, which is, I think, why we need to secede.
Okay.
You've got to secede these states that are just that incompetent. Let them fold of their own incompetency. You know,
Just walk away.
yeah, we don't have to do anything. You know, we could push them. But
Yeah. It's like Humongous. You don't watch movies, but Humongous in the Mad Max movie. Just walk away.
I think we use one of those clips on the show here from time to time. But you know that liberal world order that they keep talking about?
Yeah, the liberal world order.
Because they don't call it a new world order. They want to identify with it themselves. You know, so it's a liberal world order. Economic advisor Brian Deese, after the inflation number this morning, said it's more urgent than ever to pass new spending bills.
He said,
Put more money in the system.
yes. You know, that's exactly the philosophy of our ally, Erdogan, in Turkey. That's what he says. In order to curb inflation, you have to spend more
Right.
and lower the interest rates. So,
NATO ally.
NATO ally, yeah.
Nobody thinks about it much until it comes to the discussion of security in Europe. Yeah. But,
this is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
Yep, there he is right now.
Yep.
You know what Biden said this morning?
I can hardly wait to find out.
In response to the number, he says America will not allow this to go on much longer.
And what does that mean?
Who knows, coming from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why we will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work, operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements
Together.
that we will convene to work together on to galvanize global action. With that, I thank you all. This is a matter of urgent priority for all of us. And I know we will work on this together.
She's just absolute genius, isn't she? She's so
Australian TV ran a clip of her and said she has absolutely no insight whatsoever.
31 seconds of profundity from the Vice President of the United States. She had breakfast with Obrador yesterday morning. See that?
Oh yeah, and Obrador, yeah.
Talk about stature, huh? You get to sit down with some eggs with the president of Mexico.
Well, you know, she's the one that said, "Don't come."
Yeah,
I'm here to tell you, don't come.
right. Oh my gosh, she's the treasure.
Yeah,
Absolute treasure.
and you know, the Democratic Party is trying to convince Biden that he shouldn't run again.
But he says if it were just him, they'd vote for him against who they have to defeat at all costs, which is
hell no!
which is Donald Trump. Because it's all about Trump. You know?
Exactly.
If any narrative, any policy directive, any subject matter of any sort comes up and it hurts Trump, they're going to pass it on. You know, they're going to push it on. If it doesn't hurt him, you won't hear about it.
No. And
he must be stopped at all costs.
So how are we doing about that liberal world order? I mean, seems to be kind of falling apart.
Well, it's in in musical terms, it's in a fermata. It's not going anywhere.
Well,
Nope.
Well, the big event of the week was the assassination of Japan's former Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe. He was assassinated with a homemade shotgun. I thought Japan was a gun-free zone.
It's supposed to be, yeah. Apparently, by mail, everybody's capable of owning a firearm. That's a good thing, actually.
Yeah, it's a good thing, yeah. He didn't put it to good use, of course. We don't condone what he was. But Abe, most Japanese prime ministers are faceless bureaucrats, and they only last a year or two. But Abe was around.
He was around a long time.
Yes, he was. Mm-hmm. And he liked Trump. He got along with Putin. He disliked China. And
China responded.
Yeah.
With appropriate disrespect, I think, to his assassination.
And if he was in office, Japan probably would not have sanctioned Russia, but they did. And now Japan is facing the same inflation and energy uncertainty that the rest of the West is. Plus, they were about to do a treaty with Russia over some disputed islands, and that's been shelved. Yep. So, you remember when Minority Leader Dick Gephardt, that was way back in the 80s, he thought Japan
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, he thought Japan was like we think China is now. He thought Japan was going to take over the world, and he wanted all kinds of tariffs, and we have to be like Japan. We have to have a centralized economy and all this stuff. And
they had that labor environment there that benefited corporations. That's why everything was made in Japan in those days.
Yeah, and they figured out how to make everything smaller.
Yeah.
The transistor era. But they've been bypassed largely, and they've had the economy is still strong by many metrics, but it's basically hasn't grown as much. It's been in stagflation for most of the following decades.
Right. Just hanging on, basically.
Yep.
Say what?
Well, Newsom, in response to the proliferation of firearms, has signed a piece of legislation allowing gun manufacturers to be sued for negligence. You know how those guns?
Yeah, they don't work. I know, they just don't work.
Join the conversation. Call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back.
I didn't go anywhere.
They're talking.
Oh, you meant our listening audience.
Our listening audience, yes. All 5 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're all on 580 and
yeah.
Listening to us on 93.7 FM now, probably.
Yeah. The Democrats are holding those January 6th insurrection hearings, but, you should look at what Sri Lanka did. Now, that was an insurrection.
There's an insurrection for you.
Exactly.
Has the planet gone mad?
And it was bloodless, too.
Yes, exactly.
They just used the pool.
But that was some mob. You talk about a mob, and then
Well, like when you can't eat, that's the kind of thing that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were swimming in the pool. They were putting their feet up on the sofas and stuff too.
Yeah,
just like in America.
Yeah. Well, it's hot there. But that's the effect of the Green New Climate deal and all that nonsense.
Yes, it is. So President Gobaya, or as I call him, President Go Bye Bye, was held.
We watched him go bye-bye, didn't we?
Well, he tried to.
He tried to get to the airport.
He was at the airport, but nobody would stamp his passport.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, they refused, and he was afraid to go in public boarding. So.
But he was the president.
I know he was the president. Yeah. I wonder how much money he had in those suitcases.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Inconceivable.
Yeah. Or what it would be worth today.
So I think we mentioned the Netherlands last week. It's the same thing. It's this Green New Deal, only instead of carbon dioxide, now they're focusing on nitrogen.
Well, they're actually expropriating property there, I understand.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, is this really about the Green New Deal, or is this a land grab?
Mm.
Especially
and this has the blessing of the EU, obviously. So,
well, Ursula von Leyen, she has to do something because the EU is now importing coal from all over the world. Her Green New Deal is in jeopardy. You
because
can't.
Nord Stream 2 is not working. Is that the point you're trying to make?
Well, President Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he's maybe trying to actually reopen Nord Stream 2. You see,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, in July, Nord Stream 1 is still operating, or was. 40% of Germany's gas supplies comes from Nord Stream 1. And in the summertime, Russia does maintenance on it. But the thing is, they've already used up their reserves, so they can't,
There's no time to do maintenance?
There's no time for Germany to make up for the fact that Russia's shutting down for a week or 10 days to do maintenance. Plus, there was a turbine that was sent to Canada for repair.
And he's not returning it? Is that the
Well, they delayed. They hemmed and hawed, and they finally issued a waiver so they could resend the turbine back to Germany, but not Russia. So they have to send it to Germany, and then Germany has to send it to Russia before they can fix the problem. So,
and the problem is
the problem is that they need that turbine apparently to get the Nord Stream 1 back up.
Less so now than 3 months from now.
Exactly. So they were already out of reserves. It's going to get a heck of a lot worse in November when they're supposed to cancel all the gas and fuel from Russia.
Right.
They've been frantically looking for alternatives. They've been to Qatar, and they've been to Colombia and Venezuela, but Colombia is sending them a lot of their coal. They're importing their coal from Colombia and other countries to make up for it, because they still don't really know what they're going to do in November when they get off Russian gas. And so, it's again and again we've said NATO is about keeping the U.S. in Europe, keeping Russia out of Europe, and keeping Germany down. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Trump warned them.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you proceed in this direction, will be the effect. And they all laughed.
Of course.
They all laughed at him.
Well, just like last week they sat around the G7 table and they all laughed at Putin. Boris said, we should take off our shirts, and we should show our pecs. And we should ride horses like Putin with no shirt on. And Ursula von der Leyen chimed in, "Oh, horseback riding, that's so delightful."
Oh, you do her well. Sounded just like her. Well, that's when Biden is happiest. When he's at these international summits.
Yeah,
no matter which one it
is,
those are the people he likes. He loves the globalists. It's all about globalism to him. He doesn't care about the sovereignty of the United States. And so you can just see it in his aura. His face lights up. He smiles a lot. He seems to be coherent, which is something
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
I hope you're taking notes. I heard. Oh, look at there. There's an accident on the spaghetti bowl. It happened just that very moment.
For those who don't know, the spaghetti bowl is an intersection, a freeway over intersection in Reno. Yeah.
Everybody's got to go through there no matter the direction.
Yes.
Not scientifically possible.
So the police in Netherlands, the police even fired live rounds at some of the tractor protesters children who dumped manure in front of the government offices. You see, just like the Marxists say, that's now you're showing the violence inherent in the system.
Mean old people.
Exactly.
Damn right.
Yeah. So the left used to be, I remember in the 60s, the required reading was Frantz Fanon's book, The Wretched of the Earth.
Yeah.
And it was all about empowering the masses to rise up against the corrupt government. Now it's empowering the corrupt governments to take land away from the masses.
Yeah. And, something occurred to me over the last couple of weeks that I remember pretty well now. Back in the 60s, I think, there was a book out called The Greening of America.
I remember that vaguely. Yeah.
It got a lot of tabletop exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw it in something like Montgomery Ward's or something like that. And I bought it.
Yeah.
I bought the book.
Uh-huh.
The title appealed to me, because, you're at that age where you just think that everything should be green and clean. And,
yeah.
So I understand this fascination with the climate agenda, but it was all about socialism.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Yeah, sure.
So that was the foundation of what we're witnessing now. Mm-hmm. But it was there in book form, that was 50 years ago.
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
I guess. So there's one little crack that came up. The New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern, she's that lady with the long horse face, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She says they do not accept the West's black and white view of China, and she wants a more nuanced relationship with Beijing. So, we get the Sky News, the Australian channel on YouTube.
Right.
It's owned by Murdoch,
right.
Same as Fox.
Right.
So they freaked out. The Australian military-industrial complex, they all erupted in anger. The West must stand united with the same message. We must not give in an inch. Well.
Yeah. Well, I just looked it up while you were talking there, and The Greening of America was released in 1970 by Charles A. Reich.
Uh-huh.
It is a paean to the counterculture of the 60s and its values. Excerpts first appeared as an essay in on the 26th of September 1970 issue of The New Yorker. So it got quite a bit of media, printed media.
I was involved in a green deal in the 60s.
Were you?
Yeah, I was in New York City. I got together with someone that had ties to Vista, Volunteers in Service of America, and we would truck food from New England organic farmers and black farmers, small black farmers. There's a warehouse in New Jersey, and then we distribute it at low prices to a lot of daycare centers. So I was very liberal in those days.
Discounted prices?
Yeah, to the daycare centers in New York City. And it went on for several years before it became financially impossible. I guess the grants ran out or something.
That was
changing people's lives.
That was very charitably nice of you to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
you're not as mean as you sound on the radio.
At least not then. I guess I've gotten meaner as I got older.
Well, what happens is in the process of the accumulation of wealth and property, then you take a different perspective on all of this. It's like you don't care about a garden until you have one.
Exactly.
It's just one of those deals.
Nope.
So, meanwhile, bricks. You know what bricks is? It's not another brick in the wall. It's
no, it's the Brazil, Russia, India, and what's the other one?
China.
Yeah.
South Africa is in there too. But they're going to expand from 5 to 7. Iran and Argentina are now applying for membership. And so they're already
creating their own bloc.
Yeah, their own G8. Their own G8 down there. And they're talking about separating their currencies from the dollar. Well, that's coming up next.
But they are mad.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Brian Deese is mad because that liberal world order is having an effect on our enemies,
Oh yeah, they're prospering more and more.
Let's get our act together.
Yep, the global South is coming together.
America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now, back to the show.
Well,
what?
Welcome back to Talking Truth and Power. Hey, those hoes, like we said at the end of the last segment, those hoes still be mad.
Are they?
Yeah, they're mad.
Yeah.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
They're twerking up a storm, aren't they?
Well, first of all, they're mad still at the Democrats and the right over the Supreme Court decision sending abortion back to the states. Deborah Messing was on a call with Joe Biden, and she was screaming at him.
Yeah.
She claims she got him elected because he is not doing enough to restore Roe v. Wade. Kamala's...
He signed an executive order.
That's not enough.
He's doing what he can.
Yeah. Well, Kamala doesn't know what to do either.
No, she doesn't.
No.
But she doesn't know what a woman is either, I don't think.
No. Although she is one. She did claim she is one.
She is one. I noticed that.
Senator Warren wants crisis pregnancy centers shut down for torturing women with misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, the torture that goes on in there.
Yeah, a lot of torture going on in there. So their plan is what? To set up an offshore boat, like a mobile abortion center? Is that
that was deal? One of the plans that they dug up.
Where's that going to be, in the Caribbean?
For people in the deep south where those states are restrictive. I don't know.
International waters.
That Indian reservations was floated too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Federal lands. Hey, come to Yellowstone Park and get an abortion.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because when you think of Yellowstone,
you think of abortion.
Terminating fetuses.
Yes, exactly.
First thing that comes to mind. But does the Law of the Seas Treaty crowd, do they sign on to that? I mean,
I don't know. Gosh, we'll have to ask them.
We'll have to do some homework on that.
I guess they can be found in the same place you can find all of them.
Right there. Yep.
And Joe Biden got a lot of hoes mad this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. A whole bunch of people got mad over her.
Yeah.
Something about a breakfast food?
Yeah, something about calling, appealing to diversity. Diversity is our strength, when of course it's actually our weakness.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but she...
it's just another thing they don't know.
Right. So she called... she mispronounced bodega. Bodega she said bodega.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, put the accent on the first syllable instead of the second. And then she called Miami Hispanics beautiful flowers, but she called Texas Hispanics breakfast tacos.
Well, here, I was just thinking she was hungry. That's all I thought about when I saw that. So she just thought of a breakfast. I mean, who wouldn't think of a breakfast taco?
Exactly.
When you're hungry in the morning.
Exactly.
Whatever, I'll do what I want.
But as it turns out, Hispanics didn't like that either.
No.
They didn't like the reference.
We are not tacos.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
See, you can't please these people. No matter what you try to do, they're going to find something to be offended by.
You'd have to be a fly on the wall to really appreciate that they actually discussed that about what she was going to say that morning.
Right.
And that's what they came up with.
Yes. Breakfast tacos.
Here's the deal, guys. What we should say is, and this is what they came up with. These people are really smart.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, they took 6 months to figure out Ultra MAGA, and look how that went over.
Desperation wherever you look from this crowd.
And
it's really fun.
Her step, the 4chan discovered or broke into the cloud and discovered some more information from Hunter Biden's telephone.
Uh-huh.
And he called his stepmom, Jill, an entitled female,
careful
dog.
Yep.
And
who knew there was that kind of friction in the Biden hierarchy?
Right. No, we're going to find out a lot more about that, I'll tell you. We haven't
Have
even
you
begun.
noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
You know, that laptop, it's a treasure trove. That's what that thing is. The FBI's had it since 19, and they haven't done anything with it. Isn't that amazing?
Hunter Biden is the gift that keeps on giving.
He really
you
is.
Know? And
smartest man his father knows.
His father, obviously.
Nope.
So a multiracial, multicultural society is what they want. But it's actually a recipe for continued strife and division.
And civil war.
And civil war eventually. Mm-hmm. Or secession.
I mean, everybody's kind of whispering about that now. Mm-hmm. I saw Tucker describe it the other day. Here and there, it seems to get through. It lifts itself up. You know, was it Carnegie that said when you have a brilliant idea, you just throw it out there and nature takes it up to its appropriate altitude? You know, I'm paraphrasing, but it was basically what he said.
Well, the hoes are mad at Georgetown University too.
Are they?
Hoes mad! Hoes mad! Hoes mad!
I didn't know there were any at Georgetown.
Well, the formerly Catholic university, especially the law school, seems to be taken over by Jews.
Huh.
Amazing. Well, and this is all from Jonathan Turley's blog because he's erudite enough to pick this up. But Rosa Brooks, now she may be actually a Gentile German, but if she is, she's most definitely a Shabbos Goy, says, we don't need the Constitution anymore. And guess what? She's an open society. She worked for Soros for a long time.
They don't need the Supreme Court. They don't need anything. There's no order at all.
Right.
Definition of civil war.
So if Rosa Brooks is not Jewish, she had a fine Jewish education at Harvard, Yale, and Oxford.
Then at least speak English.
We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis.
We can't?
No. So she said she was especially mad about the Second Amendment Supreme Court case. And she is not only the head of constitutional law, but also national security law. And she's on the West Point faculty. So you have someone teaching the West Point cadets that we don't need the Constitution. In fact, we're enslaved by the Constitution.
Yeah,
and rich, white, heterosexual males who form the Constitution, blah, 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 blah. It's just not serving us well, and we should just dump it. Mm-hmm. So we should dump the Constitution. Yeah. Why not?
Well, that's what their university teachers told them. So That's all they know. And they're the really smart people. They know these things.
And again, at Georgetown, Professor Heidi I. Feldman. Now, her early life on Wikipedia, she's not high enough up in the ranks to get an early life segment in Wikipedia.
She's not?
No, which way you go to find out these things.
I see.
But if she's not Jewish, I don't know who is. She denounces lawless and actively rogue justices and lawyers and law professors, and she advocates they all be shunned. And again, she's just mad. She's very mad about the Supreme Court because they don't agree with her point of view. Mm-hmm. So coincidentally, 65% of university students feel they cannot speak freely on campus, and conservative students are 300% more likely to self-censor themselves due to intolerance of their views on campus.
See, that's why I didn't do well in college, because I didn't self-censor.
Yes.
I just spoke my mind.
Exactly.
And first they patted me on the back. The campus administrator. It doesn't get any higher. I don't know what they call it, what his title was. It's great. It's great. We were going to Easter vacation. I said, I'm going to do a little bit more on this, and I'll get back to you after Easter. And I came back, and wouldn't see me. Wouldn't have anything to do with it. Showed me the exit.
Well, probably ADL contacted them.
Yeah,
they always do to make sure you're following the line.
Yeah. You got to toe the line.
Now, did you see the exchange between Senator Hawley and Berkeley professor Clara Bridges?
I did, and it was hard to watch.
Exactly.
For a variety of reasons. First, see, I would have handled that differently than Holly did, but it demonstrated how they think, how our enemies think. That's for sure. But I would ask them, to be very direct. How is it that men become pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen exactly?
Well,
I want to know.
Oh, hell no.
Well, we would never have had the shortage of baby formula until men became pregnant.
I see. So that's contributed to that. Huh?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, hell no.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
So the thing is that if you're a transgender female to male person, then you're still a biological female, but they can't admit that. So they have to say you're a male that can get pregnant.
Nope.
It doesn't follow, but for them it does.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And then something called non-binary woman. I don't know, is that bisexual? Or I don't know what that is. You can be male in the morning and female in the afternoon.
Scientifically possible.
Is it fluidity?
Yeah, gender fluidity. That's what they call it. Yeah,
back and forth. Whatever suits her. Love it when the drums come.
Well, welcome back to Talking Truth and Power. It's time for this week's Jews in the News segment. And we have to, of course, give the Ministry of Truth disclaimer that Vladimir Putin is an evil man and a brutal aggressor. There were no other reasons for the war. We have to say, they corrected me. We have to say the invasion was totally unprovoked. Totally unprovoked.
Absolutely.
Anyone who suggests otherwise is a tool of Russian propaganda. Ukraine is a bastion of freedom and democracy, and we have a moral obligation to come to the country's defense. Indeed, Putin's assaults on Ukraine poses a lethal threat to democracy throughout the rules-based international system of the democracy of our values.
Is this a liberal new order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I understand President Biden is in Israel now? Is that true?
Yep.
Yeah. What's he doing hanging out over there?
Well, he's meeting with all the kin, all of his people. He said he's there to keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust.
Oh, yes.
Oops. He meant the horror of the Holocaust.
The horror of the Holocaust, yes.
He gets those confused.
And, we all know absolutely the Holocaust occurred exactly as the ADL describes it. And we just can't question it at all.
No.
I mean, you can possibly even be imprisoned in many countries if you even question anything at all about it. If you say 5,999,999 Jewish people perished in the Holocaust, you're off to jail.
You read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say.
6 million or bust.
I mean, you'll lose your job.
Exactly. Your livelihood.
Yeah.
In Europe, you can go to prison if you make fun of the now debunked idea that the Jews were melted into soap or made into lampshades. If you try to poke fun at that, like some French comedians have, you can wind up in prison. But, some Jews are based, and I would like to congratulate, and we do here on Talking Truth to Power. We not only make fun of our Jews.
Yeah,
Jewish
we lift them up when they
we lift them up when they do good things.
When they deserve it, yeah.
So Jeffrey Sachs, S-A-C-H-S, he happens to be Jewish. He's a professor at Columbia University, and he's been, even though he's into the climate change thing, and he works with the UN on that and stuff like that.
He thinks the climate is changing?
Yeah, I think the climate is changing.
Okay.
We have to do something about it. But he has been consistently anti-empire. Now, I remember he was on MSNBC a couple of years ago, and I'm pretty sure Mika Zabinski was on the same panel with him.
His Big's daughter?
Yeah, the Big's daughter. And they were talking about Syria, and he came right out in a calm way, just looking right at him and said, Syria is our fault. We're the ones that are funding Al-Qaeda. We're the ones trying to overthrow the legitimate government in Syria.
There wasn't somebody on the ground we weren't funding.
Yeah.
We fought both. We were funding both sides in Syria.
I know.
Unbelievable. The CIA promoted one side and the Pentagon promoted the other, and they said, just have at it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're changing people's lives.
Yeah. Especially theirs.
They ended at about 500,000 people's lives.
Yeah.
But, it's a small price to pay for democracy and the rules-based international order.
Absolutely right.
Of our values.
Yeah.
So
you know what we are? We're the Babylon Bee of radio. That's what we are here.
We don't know. We don't know.
So Jeffrey Sachs wrote an op-ed in the liberal Jewish paper Tikkun, T-I-K-U-N.
Right.
And most liberal Jews are not opposed to Zionism. They just think it should be a kinder, gentler Zionism. Instead of ethnically cleansing them out like those evil people like Netanyahu want to do, we'll try to persuade them to leave. Just offer a little persuasion. But
Vladimir Zelensky is also Jewish.
Yeah. You can't say Zelensky because Ukraine has outlawed the letter
right.
Z.
I forgot about
because
that.
Russia.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
So
damn it, I forgot that.
Yeah, his if you translate his Zelensky from the Russian, it's Greenberg.
Yeah, that's.
He's the richest actor in the world. Now he's demanding $9 billion a month.
To fund their corrupt
government.
operation.
Yeah, to fund his corrupt operation, exactly. To pay for his mortgages on his mansions in Tuscany and Miami.
He was doing on a lot less prior to the invasion.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Yeah, so now he's got even more money to scatter around the corruption. So.
He's on fire!
Well, they're sending a lot of that money right back to the lobbyists in America.
Perfect. Is that perfect or what?
I know. People don't realize how big a lobby the Ukrainian diaspora has in America and in Canada as well.
Biden just sent another package of over $1 billion this early Monday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Monday. Yeah, it's like $1 billion a week. These people.
And Congress voted another $35 billion or so to the Pentagon, even though they didn't even ask for it.
They deserve it.
Yeah. So we're sending billions overseas when people are hungry and going out of business in America.
Yep.
I think it was for healthcare too. We sent a couple of billion for Ukrainian healthcare.
Huh. Well, there could be some issues.
Changing people's lives.
Yeah.
But Sachs came out and said, this is all our doing. It's the neocons. And anyway, not his doing, but the neocons. And we know the neocon movement is 90% Jewish. It sprang from the Trotskyite movement. Mm-hmm. And it's been responsible for, the deaths of millions of people. And they really haven't produced that much. We lost Afghanistan. We basically lost Syria, unless they can starve it to death. We destroyed Libya, Kosovo. We destroyed all of these countries. Now we're destroying the Ukraine.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, it's the rules-based international order of our democracy's values. So hands up to Jeffrey Sachs. He's
You know what John Bolton said, don't you?
Well, he didn't say what Sachs said. No.
Well, he says that he's had a hand in the overthrow of these regimes. He's taking credit for it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And Hillary, of course. We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah, he disemboweled himself to death.
Yeah. And Libya was the most prosperous African nation, at least in northern Africa.
Bolton said, it takes a lot of work. That's a quote.
Yeah. Well, he had Elliot Abrams to help him.
He did.
They did it together.
That's right. But Bolton is not in the CFR, but Abrams is.
Okay.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And Kissinger spoke this week. Did you see that?
No, Henry's
he
back in the news.
He happens to be Jewish.
Yeah, he does.
Kissinger happens to be Jewish. And he was on Tucker. I missed the clip. I missed the segment, but he did speak to the issue of Ukraine, and he said August will be critical.
Are we the baddie?
Well, Zelensky or Greenberg or whatever his name is, he claims Vladimir, yeah, he claims that they're going to raise 1 million-man army in August and retake the Donbass.
That's what, he's talking like that.
Yeah.
Well, he has to justify all that money that's coming to him that is going to be passed around.
Passed around to, the oligarchs in Ukraine.